Good afternoon, guys. How have you been? We'll wait for some listeners to join in. Start or shall we wait for this to? Okay. Okay, fine. Fine. I think this is the number of students. Okay. A very good afternoon once again. I am Dr. Ninad Vitekar. Don't worry, I am not the doctor with the needles. I am the doctor with the books. I have a PhD in applied linguistics in English. My specialty is vocabulary development and semantic and pragmatics. I've been teaching English for the past 12 years across multiple platforms, including colleges, universities, of course, competitive examination centers like these. And this is going to be our first association, and I'm looking forward to it. My primary job, as I have already told you, is to teach English. That is the VARC section that is comprised in this bank in these all these banking and competitive examinations. However, this session is about critical reasoning, and the reason that I'm going to take it over is because, as you all are aware, that these critical reasoning questions are a bit demanding as far as uh, the difficulty level of the language is concerned. It is verbose, it is vocabulary driven, the sentence structure is complex, and it needs a lot of brain wrecking in order to tackle these. So, yes, critical reasoning. I'm going to assume in this particular session that you guys are well versed with the basics of the critical reasoning, because I've been told that most of you are on the verge of an examination in the upcoming week. That is why this session will be all about question and answers. We are going to take it nice and slow. We are going to start off with pretty simple examples at first, and then we are going to gradually increase the difficulty. As far as this particular session is concerned, I hope you guys are comfortable with the language that I'm using. If you are not so much comfortable, you can let me know in the comments. Okay? I can shift to any other language that you want. But I think as far as the competency level of the students and the ask for this particular session is concerned, I think this should be fine. Anyway, without wasting much of our time, we are going to start off with the questions. So I hope you are able to the screen perfectly. I hope I am audible perfectly. If not, please do let me know in the comments. Fine. I'm going to assume that I'm audible. Moving on. So yes, as I've already told you that the session is all about questions and answers. I'm going to assume that the basics are dealt with already. If some of you are still concerned with the basics, I'll tell you, as far as critical reasoning is concerned, the major thing is supposed to be the statement or the passage, which in a single word can be called as a premise. Now, this premise further develops with the help of these subcategories, that is, assumptions, then inferences, which can further be used to deduce conclusions. This is one of the major aspects of these critical reasoning examples. One more aspect would be cause and effect. And the purview of this particular session remains constricted to these concepts. And I think this should do. Anyway, the idea is to have a look at the question on the board, try and answer it. The first few questions will be dealt by us together. I'm going to read it now. First question, there is a statement. Consortium of commercial banks has joined hands to float a new company. Consortium will be association. To float a new company in is basically, it has to do with releasing an IPO of a company. They invest in a company, the big players, they invest in a company, and the trade, it is established in the share market, the trade market, and wherein they join the IPO. But in this context, it means to help establish a newer company. And the target of that company is which will collect data related to frauds and security risk. So, as we can deduce from this statement, these commercial banks, they are facing a problem, and that problem is frauds and security, and that is why they are going to invest. The consortium of these banks is going to invest on a new company which will collect data related to frauds and security risk. They are thinking it of one of the measures to counter the problem that they are having. The ask here is, which of the following statements can be assumptions? I think we are clear with this. Okay. Number one, there is a growing incidence of frauds in banks. This is what the assumption is. I think this is fair enough. There is a growing incidence of frauds in banks. They are facing a problem, the thing that we have just discussed. The problem has been dealt with with this particular method here. There is a growing incidence of frauds in banks, and that is why I think that this is fair enough. Let's keep it on hold, this one. Number two says, the company will completely put an end to bank frauds in the near future. That is what their idea is. That is what their plan is. However, this thing, investing in a new company, is one of the measures, right? And what we are doing here is we are making an assumption by using this particular word completely. I have a problem with this particular word. The company will, it is not only it is overstepping the basics that we have been told of, and the basics are, you're not supposed to lean towards any option that is that goes to the extreme. So this completely part goes to the extremes, and that is why we don't want this. It is all in the maybe segment. They are investing in this, and the results are a big maybe. This could help, could not help. And this is a bit of an overstatement. We don't want this. Number three says, due to negligence on the part of the RBI, the commercial banks had to take such a step. Now, the stakeholders are commercial banks. This all has to do with banking, and that is why the reference of RBI sounds fair enough. However, this particular part, due to negligence on the part of the RBI. Now, this not only takes us out of the context, but again, it is an assumption that is not in the purview of this thing, and we are out of context here. Negligence on the part. Why are we blaming RBI despite knowing any context? And that is why this can also be ruled out. So the answer is simple. Number one, there is a growing incidence of frauds in banks. Simple as that. They have a problem, and that this is the problem, and that is why they are going to invest a lot in all of this. With me so far? Sorted? Like, let's look alive here. Please let it be known in the comments that you are listening to me. Okay? Fine. Moving on. Number two, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to solve this one. This is supposed to be a cinch, a piece of cake, should not ask for much. Okay, I have a 30-second timer here. Yes. Let me know the answers in the comments. I'll read the question to you in the meantime. It is a cause and effect question. Effect: the government has been continuously increasing the prices of petrol in the market over the last few years. Which of the following can be a probable cause of the above effect? We have three main causes and we have two permutations and combinations of the main causes. Your time is up. Do we have the answers here? Most of you are saying two. Okay, you're leaning towards two. Let's have a look. Number one, petroleum companies are reducing their burden of oil subsidy. Petroleum company is reducing their burden of oil subsidy. Number two says there has been an increase in oil prices in the international market. Sounds fair enough to me. There has been an increase in the oil prices in the international market. Number three is there has been a decrease in the import of crude oil. Can this be a reason? Please let me know in the comments. Can this be a reason behind this increasing the prices of the oil? Can three be included? Please let me know. Come on, guys, look alive. Chop, chop. No. Why are you saying no? Again, because this particular part, the petroleum companies are reducing their burden of oil subsidy. This is again an over assumption, overstatement. We are taking into the factor a very wrong thing, and same can be said about this one. There has been a decrease in the import. We are not sure of that. We are not sure of the import. We are not safe to comment on the import part. The data has not been given to us. The only thing that we know is the government has been continuously increasing the prices, and there has been an increase in oil prices, and this directly connects us to this. That is why you guys are right. The answer is number two. Okay, moving on. Recently, again, you have 30 seconds. I'm not going to read it now. I hope it is you're able to read it. Are you able to read it, or am I missing the first part? Are you able to read the entire? No. Okay. Some of you are saying no. Some of you are saying yes. Readable. Yeah, most of you are saying readable. Fine. You have 45 seconds to solve this. I'll read it along you guys. 3 says, recently India has recognized the sovereign right, sovereign complete in totality, sovereign rights of the Arctic countries. Yes, sir. Just give me a moment, guys. वरचा कट होतोय का भाग? नाही ना? Okay. Fine. We'll continue. As far as the language is concerned, please let me know, are you comfortable with this, or shall I dial it down a bit? I can use Hindi or Marathi if you want. A little bit of both. What do you think? Fine. आपण थोडंसं मिक्स घेऊयात. ओके. द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस वर्ड सॉव्हरेन, मराठीमध्ये याला आपण म्हणतो सार्वभौम. ओके. रिसेंटली इंडिया हॅज रेकग्नाइज्ड द sovereign rights of the Arctic countries. India has also recognized the law of the sea set up by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and honored the local people, culture, and traditions of the Arctic states. बेसिकली काय केलंय भारताने, सॉव्हरेन जे आर्टिक नेशन्स आहेत त्यांना त्यांचे जे सॉव्हरेन सार्वभौमत्व त्यांचं जे आहे ते मान्य केलेलं आहे, रेकग्नाइज केलेलं आहे. ओके, त्याच्यात सबसेट काय आहे, द लॉ ऑफ सी सेटअप बाय द युनायटेड नेशन्स कन्व्हेन्शन्स ऑन द लॉ ऑफ द सी अँड ऑनर्ड द लोकल पीपल कल्चर अँड ट्रेडिशन्स ऑफ द आर्टिक स्टेट्स. मग त्यात त्यांचं सार्वभौमत्व आणि ह्या बाकीच्या गोष्टी पण आपण मान्य केलेल्या आहेत, मान्यता दिलेली आहे. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग हॅज बीन अज्युम्ड इन द गिव्हन स्टेटमेंट. अँड आय कॅन सी द आन्सर्स 1, 2, 1 आणि 2 मध्ये कन्फ्युजन आहे. बरं, 1 इंडिया रिस्पेक्ट्स द सॉव्हरेनिटी ऑफ अ स्टेट. बरोबर वाटतंय मला. याचा बेसिक सगळ्याचा पर्पज हा आहे की आपल्याला एखाद्या स्टेट विषयी आपला रिस्पेक्ट दाखवायचा आहे. अँड दॅट्स इट, दॅट शुड बी फाईन. 2 ज्यांचं म्हणणं आहे आपण 2 एकदा बघूयात. इंडिया हॅज कीन इंटरेस्ट इन द आर्क्टिक रिजन ॲज इट इज फुल ऑफ बायोडायव्हर्सिटी. पहिली गोष्ट तर हे पण अजम्पशन आपण आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट जातोय थोडंसं. आणि दुसरा मुद्दा, इंडिया हॅज कीन इंटरेस्ट इन द आर्क्टिक रिजन. इकडे इंटरेस्टला आपण पॉलिटिकल इंटरेस्ट असं गृहीत धरू शकतो, पण दरवेळेस तेच कारण असेल अशातला भाग नाहीये. त्यामुळे दिस पर्टिक्युलर ऑप्शन फेअर्स इन अ डायसी टेरिटरी अँड दॅट इज वाय वी कॅन रूल इट आउट. Number 3, India was forced by the developed countries. Again, forced by the developed countries. Underline this. This is out of place. We don't want this. Okay. India wants to set up a permanent base in the Arctic. आता हे बघा, permanent base setup करायचा आहे so that it can perform scientific research. Again, we are assuming things that are not there. Again, we don't want these options, and that is why number 1 is the only answer we are looking for. This one. Okay, fine. Moving on. I think these are yes, try and solve this one. You have 1 minute to solve this. A minute starts now. Fine. The time is up. I think there is no need to read the entire segment. I'll just paraphrase it in Marathi. वॉशिंग्टन युनिव्हर्सिटीमध्ये एक रिसर्च झाला, त्याच्या अनुसार काय आहे, जी लोक रात्री बऱ्याचदा फ्रिक्वेंटली ज्यांना जाग येते, बऱ्याचदा उठतात झोपेतनं, त्यांना काय आहे, दे हॅव अ हायर रिस्क ऑफ डेव्हलपिंग अल्झायमर्स डिसीज. यातलं कन्क्लुजन कोणतं आहे ते आपल्याला बघायचं आहे. वी हॅव 5 ऑप्शन्स. Among the patients suffering with Alzheimer's disease, more than 60% are past their middle age. इकडे प्रॉब्लेम आहे. 60% हा डेटा जो आहे याच्यात कुठल्या अँगलनी आपण इथे कोरोबरेट करतोय. कोरोबरेट करणे म्हणजे सपोर्ट करतोय. देयर इज नो कनेक्शन विथ दिस. आणि मला वाटतं तुमच्या आन्सर्समध्ये सी आणि बी मध्ये कन्फ्युजन आहे, आपण तिकडेच लक्ष देऊयात. बी बघा, among the patients suffering with Alzheimer's disease, majority are those who generally work during the night. बरोबर वाटतंय. ओके, सॉरी, हे बरोबर एवढं वाटत नाहीये बऱ्यापैकी. ठीक आहे. सफरिंग विथ अल्झायमर्स डिसीज, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ आर दोज हू जनरली वर्क ड्युरिंग द नाईट्स. म्हणजे यांनी काय केलं, अल्झायमर्स डिसीजला जे मून लाइटर्स आहेत, रात्री काम करणारे आहेत, त्यांच्यासोबत यांनी इक्वेट केलेलं आहे. पुन्हा एकदा लॉजिक पूर्णपणे बसत नाहीये. फक्त त्यांनाच अल्झायमर होतो का, म्हणजे मग जे रात्री काम करतात, ज्यांचं काम रात्री असतं Doesn't make any sense. Let's have a look at C. Among the different types of diseases that are caused by insufficient sleep, Alzheimer's disease is at the top of the list. बघा, टॉप ऑफ द लिस्ट म्हटलेला आहे. म्हणजे हा अजून एक डेटा आपल्याला मिळालेला आहे, जो डेटा इकडे ट्रान्सलेट करता येतो आपल्याला सरळ सरळ. डिफरंट टाइप्स ऑफ डिसीज दॅट आर कॉज्ड बाय इनसफिशियंट स्लीप, अल्झायमर्स डिसीज इज ॲट द टॉप ऑफ द लिस्ट. बरोबर आहे. अँड दॅट thereby we can conclude that C is the option that we are looking for. Okay. Yeah, let's try and solve this one. Most of the developing countries, number 8. You have 1 minute for this one as well. कार्तिकचं म्हणणं आहे, व्हॉट अबाउट दोज हू स्क्रोल रील्स ॲट नाईट, दॅट्स वाय बी इज नॉट करेक्ट. ऑफकोर्स यू आर ऑन अ फनी साईड कार्तिक, वी कॅन से दॅट्स द केस. आधीच्या प्रश्नाबद्दल बोलतोय कार्तिक. However, we are going to solve this one. 8. थोडासा इंटरेस्टिंग आहे, थोडा आता डिफिकल्टी हळूहळू वाढते आपली. Come on, give me your answers, guys. The answer. You want some more time for this one? The official time is up. Fine. Some of you are saying 2, some are saying 5. Okay. बघा, आता इकडे आपण मेन मुद्द्याकडे बघूयात. मी पूर्ण वाचतो शांतपणे. मोस्ट ऑफ द डेव्हलपिंग कंट्रीज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड इन्क्लुडिंग इंडिया वाईल मेकिंग, कशाबद्दल बोलतोय आपण? डेव्हलपिंग कंट्रीज. ओके, त्यात इंडिया पण आलंय. वाईल मेकिंग द अॅन्युअल बजेट, कीप इन माइंड टू मेक इट अ deficit budget, although they can also make a balanced budget like most of the developed countries of the world. What could be the possible reason behind making a deficit budget? आता पहिली गोष्ट तर आपल्याला मुद्दा समजून घ्यायचा आहे की डेफिसिट बजेट म्हणजे काय, आणि इन कॉन्ट्रास्ट टू बॅलन्स्ड बजेट. बघा, जे सधन देश आहेत, ज्यांच्याकडे रिसोर्सेस बऱ्यापैकी आहेत आणि त्यांचं एक्सपेंडिचर आणि त्यांचा जो रेव्हेन्यू आहे तो इक्विलिब्रियमला आहे, ते काय करतात? त्यांचं बजेट बॅलन्स असतं. म्हणजे रिसोर्सेस इज इक्वल टू एक्सपेन्स. ठीक आहे. पण जे डेव्हलपिंग कंट्रीज आहेत त्यांना बऱ्यापैकी लोन्स घ्यावे लागतात. त्याच्यामुळे यांच्याकडचे रिसोर्सेस आर नॉट इक्वल टू देअर एक्सपेन्सेस. आणि रिसोर्सेस म्हणजे काय? बेसिकली एक देश वेगवेगळ्या माध्यमातून, म्हणजे त्याच्याकडे जे नैसर्गिक संसाधन जे आहेत त्याच्यातनं जो काही पैसा कमवतो, आणि दुसरा पैसा कमवण्याचं साधन काय? टॅक्सेस. टॅक्सेसमधनं पण पैसा कमवतो एक देश. ठीक आहे. आणि मग पूर्ण राज्य जे ते व्यवस्थित चालतं. आता डेव्हलपिंग नेशनमध्ये जर आपण टॅक्सेस वाढवत गेलो तर इट विल बी टॅक्सिंग ऑन द पीपल, टॅक्सिंग लाईक लिटरली ॲज वेल ॲज सायकोलॉजिकली. त्यांना ते परवडणार नाही. त्याच्यामुळे अशा सरकारला, जे डेव्हलपिंग सरकार आहे, त्यांना मायनसमध्ये इकॉनॉमी चालवावी लागते. त्यांना बऱ्याचदा लोन्स घ्यावे लागतात. त्यांना बऱ्याचदा ओव्हर प्रॉमिस करावं लागतं की आम्ही हा रोड बनवू किंवा आम्ही ही सुविधा बनवू, आणि त्यासाठी जो खर्च येणार आहे तो फक्त टॅक्सेसमधनं नाही, तर त्यासाठी देर विल बी बॉरोइंग्स. ओके. आणि म्हणून ती जी इकॉनॉमी आहे, म्हणून जे ॲन्युअल बजेट सादर केलं जातं ते डेफिसिटमध्ये सादर करावं लागतं त्यांना, बिकॉज दे हॅव टू मेक द एंड्स मीट. बॅलन्स्ड इकॉनॉमीमध्ये जे डेव्हलप, त्यांना प्रॉब्लेमच नाही आहे, कारण त्यांच्याकडे देशाचा जो एक्सपेन्स, देशाचा जो रेव्हेन्यू आहे प्लस टॅक्सेस आहे, त्याच्यानी त्यांचा एक्सपेन्स निघतोय. इक्विलिब्रियममध्ये असतो बऱ्याचदा, आणि बऱ्याचदा सरप्लसमध्ये पण असतो. त्यांना अजिबात गरज नाही या गोष्टीची. आता मला वाटतं ही कॉन्सेप्ट, डेफिसिट बजेट आणि बॅलन्स्ड बजेट, ही कॉन्सेप्ट लक्षात आलेली आहे तुमच्या. रिझन्स बघूयात आपण. आता उत्तर काय दिलंय तुम्ही इकडे? काही जण म्हणतात 2, सम ऑफ यू आर सेइंग 5. 2 म्हणजे हे ओनली 1 and 2 and some of you are saying 3 and 4. ठीक आहे. One says a deficit budget helps in the economic development of the country. मला सांगा, डेव्हलपिंग नेशन का करेल डेफिसिट बजेट? कारण त्यांना इकॉनॉमी डेव्हलप करायची आहे म्हणून तर होणार आहे ना हे सगळं. दे विल हॅव टू कीप द इकॉनॉमी रनिंग. दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट ॲप्ट रिझन्स. आता याच्यात फक्त एक प्रॉब्लेम आहे की तुम्ही असं अज्युम करू शकता की जर डेफिसिटमध्ये इकॉनॉमी चाललेली आहे तर इट विल बी हॅम्परिंग द नेशन इन द लॉंग रन. पण सध्या त्या देशाकडे समस्या अशा आहेत की इमिजिएट प्रॉब्लेम्स आम्हाला सॉल्व्ह करायचे आणि त्याच्यामुळे जे इकॉनॉमिक डेव्हलपमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री आहे ना ही इमिजिएट आत्ता फॉर नाव इट इज एसेन्शियल अँड दॅट इज वाय वी नीड दिस अँड दॅट इज वाय दिस इज वन ऑफ द करेक्ट आन्सर्स. अजून बघूयात. अ डेफिसिट बजेट हेल्प्स पीपल वर्क हार्डर टू फुलफिल द डेफिसिट. आता हे जे आहे ना म्हणजे सरकारने अनाऊन्स केलेली पॉलिसी डेफिसिट बजेटची त्याचा लोकांवर परिणाम उलट कमी होतोय. लोकांवरचं आपण जे पैशाचं बर्डन आहे ते कमी केलेलं आहे. त्यांचा टॅक्स आपण कमी केलेला आहे. त्यामुळे त्यांच्यासाठी मोटिवेशन असंच काही नाही की आता मी अजून काम करणार. त्यामुळे बेसिकली वी कॅन पुट देम इन अन इकॉनॉमिकली complacent stage, but it will not do this particular part. Work harder and to fulfill the deficit. पुन्हा अकाउंटेबिलिटी कुठे आपण